Okay, this is going to show you how to upgrade from an earlier version of Gorilla to the latest version of Gorilla. Now, in this tutorial, I'm going to be using Gorilla Studio 10, but if this is Gorilla 11 or Gorilla 12, it should work the same way. So let's say, for example, we're upgrading to Gorilla 10 and we're using, let's say, Gorilla 8. Okay, so what you want to do first of all is download the installer. So if you go to the website, which is junglesoftware.com, and go to the support pull-down menu, you can select the downloads button. Now here on the downloads page, you will see downloads for current version. Again, this is for version 10. And it really doesn't matter if you select the scheduling one or the budgeting one. It's exactly the same file. I'm on a Macintosh, so I will be presenting and showing you the Macintosh updater. The Windows works very much the same way. So you will click on the Macintosh button, and then you will go to the download page. Now this happens to be 10.3.1. Again, this will work if it's 10.3.2 or 10.4.0 or even version 11 if you're upgrading to version 11 from an earlier version. And then you want to click the download button. Now, you will have to put in your name and your email address, verify that you are not a robot, click submit, and once you do that, and I'm not going to do it now because I already have, the the installer will download to your downloads folder. So let's go take a look at our downloads folder. All right, so now we are looking at the downloads folder, and you can, of course, just find out what's in the downloads folder by selecting the downloads in the favorites here on the taskbar or on the left bar here. You can also always go to this is on a Mac, and select downloads. Now Windows, of course, also has a downloads folder. And this is the file, at least for this version, that is going to download. It's going to have the name Gorilla, the version number, in this case it's 10.3.1, and the build number 0031. So yours might be very different. It might be 10.4.0050, for example. So the next thing you want to do is you want to unzip this file. It is a zip file, and there's a couple ways you can do that, but the easiest way is just to say right-click and then open with and then archive utility. On Windows, it will be very similar to uncompress the file. Now on a Mac, it will uncompress to what's called a DMG file. And this is what you need to double click. So if we double click the DMG file, we're going to come up with the installer. Now here's the Gorilla 10 temporary drive. In Windows, it's a little different. In Windows, it'll be an EXE, right, an executable. And then you can double click the EXE and you'll get a different looking installer, but for the most part, you want to follow the prompts on Windows. Now, all you do for the Mac is you double click the Gorilla 10 package. Now again, if it's Gorilla 11, you'll double click Gorilla 11 or Gorilla 12 and double click and follow the prompts. Now it is also incredibly important that, especially on a Mac, Windows 2, that you allow install, because it's going to ask you, the Gorilla installer, at least on a Mac, is going to ask you constantly, do you allow files to be installed in your documents folder? You must click yes or OK. Do you allow the installer to modify your documents folder? Or do you, it'll tell you like 4 or 5 different allows. You must select yes and allow to each and every one. If you do not, it will not install properly. Okay. So once that's done, and I'm going to close that because I already did it. I'm going to close that. You will go to your documents folder, and in the documents folder, you will see brand new a Gorilla 10 folder. Now you can see here that I have Gorilla 9 and Gorilla 8 and Gorilla 7 because these are earlier versions. Now I have not deleted them. You don't have to delete the earlier versions. In fact, you shouldn't delete them until you upgrade and verify all your projects are in the latest version. So anyway, I'm going to, for example, in this example, we can do Gorilla 8. And notice that if I click on the Gorilla 8 folder, you will see inside a Gorilla 8.3.2 folder. This is what you can update. Or if you want to update Gorilla 9, you can update Gorilla 9.1.2. Now, if you have multiple versions of Gorilla 9, like let's say 9.1.1 or 9.1.0, you can update those that one also, but you can only select one. Okay, so just make sure you update the one that is the latest one that you want to update, and that's very, very important. Okay, you can always do it again, but you want to make sure you do it the right time. So in order to launch Gorilla 10, we're going to go to the Gorilla 10 folder. Now, this is also important. Do not use a shortcut to launch Gorilla 10 initially, and do not use on the dock or an alias or something like that. Always go to the Documents folder, to the version of Gorilla that you want to launch. In this case, it's Gorilla 10. And then right here, the Launch Gorilla file. This is what you want to select, Launch Gorilla.fm12. It might not say FMP12 on Windows because the extensions might be hidden. Double-click this file right here, and it will launch Gorilla 10. Now, I have Gorilla 10 already launched, so I'm going to hide my window over here. And when you first launch Gorilla 10 from the very first time, you will get an accept, a license agreement. You want to click OK on that or accept. And then you will see this screen right here. This copy of Gorilla 10 is not activated. Click the product you want to activate. If you are updating from an earlier version of Gorilla, click Update. Now, this is important. You will receive a new activation key when you purchase Gorilla 10 or Gorilla 11, etc. And if you are not updating from an earlier version, you do not click the Update button. You click either Scheduling, Budgeting, or the Combo Pack, depending on which version you purchased. Now, in this instance, since I'm updating and I want to bring my projects in from Gorilla 8 or Gorilla 9, for example, you want to click the Update button. Now, you can always do this afterwards also. If you made a mistake and click the Combo Pack button or the Scheduling or Budgeting button and entered your key, I'll show you how you can still update from an earlier version, right? But for the most part, you want to click the Update button. Okay, so once you do that, you will get another window, another screen here that says Updater, and it says Select Version to Update. Now notice, it will even show 10. So for example, if I'm updating from 10.2 to 10.3.1, you want to select this button right here. But in this instance, I want to do either 8 or 9. So if I were to click 8, let's just show you what that looks like. It's going to say, that this is important to read this, this updater will locate your old Gorilla 8 folder inside your Documents Gorilla 8 folder, remember we looked at that, and import all your schedules and budgets from that version. This update will not delete your Gorilla 8 folders, okay? You can delete them on your own. As you can see, I still had my Gorilla 8 folder in there. Warning, all projects currently loaded in this version will be deleted. Now, that's fine because these are all demo projects. I just installed Gorilla 10, so I don't need these, right? Okay, so we're going to click on Continue. Notice it says 8 to 10. And let me bring this up here. Now, I only have one option here in Gorilla 8, which is 8.3.2, as we saw earlier. So we're going to click on that and go through the process of updating. And notice it says here you will need to enter your new activation key. If you're updating from 8 or from 7, you will need to enter your new key. If you do 9, I'm going to cancel this, go back and select 9. And this is going to do version 9. Click Continue. And notice this says Gorilla 9.1.2, and that's the one you want to select. Again, if you have a 9.1.1 or 9.1.0, you can select those two, but make sure it's only going to update that version that you select, okay? So you want to probably update the latest version. Now this one will tell you registration will be updated from the selected version. So if you're updating from version 9 or version 10, you do not have to enter your activation key, okay? So then you can go ahead, for example here, and I'm not going to go through the process because I don't need to do it, but I'm going to click on 9, and it's going to give you a warning, again, just like that warning over here. Importing projects will delete all loaded schedules and budgets in this version, and this cannot be undone. Again, it's the demo, so it's not a problem, okay? If you want to import a single budget or a single schedule, you want to cancel this and use the load schedule or budget feature, which is down over here. Now, I'm going to cancel this and cancel this. And let's say instead of doing this, you click the Combo Pack button back on Register, right? We were back over here, right? And instead of clicking the Update button, you clicked Combo Pack or Scheduling or Budgeting, and you put in your key, right? So let's say, for example, that I put in my key here. And once I copy and pasted the key, I click on the Activate button. And then it goes, and of course it activates, right? And it gives you the welcome screens and all that. We'll go ahead and close that and close that. Now I have activated Gorilla 10, but my projects from version 8 or version 9, or even version 7 for that matter, are not here. These are the demos, right? So in order to import the other version, the projects, you can still go to File and select Import Older Version. And that's going to basically take you to the same window that we had earlier when we clicked the Update button. And then you can go ahead and do the version 9 or version 8 or version 7 upgrade. Okay, now once you've verified that all your projects are in here from version 8 or version 9 or even from another version 10, you can go and delete, if you want, I'll find it again. You can go and select, let's say I updated from Gorilla 8, for example. You can delete Gorilla 8 or Gorilla 9. It's just another backup, you know, it's not going to really harm anything. But you want to make sure that you've updated from Gorilla 8 or 9 into Gorilla 10 first, okay? And always remember to launch from here, from right there, okay? Now, if you want to use a dock or want to use a shortcut on the desktop, you can do that. I can say right here, make alias, and I can move this to the desktop or put it on the, or drag this. If I want to drag this to my dock all the way down there, I can do that. The only problem with that, and this is very important, is that when you update from Gorilla 10 to Gorilla 11, for example, that shortcut or that alias is not going to launch the latest version. It's going to launch this version. So that's very, very, very important that you remember that. That's why I always tell people to always launch from the folder. Okay? So that wraps this up, and I hope that helps you guys updating to Gorilla 10.